But let's talk about also what, about extending a brand beyond its original business model. And I just found this really interesting. I was up north in the summer and I saw this and I was like, what would make a financial company get involved in pontoon boat sales? And I thought, okay, well, maybe it's because Warren Buffett likes pontooning, and if Warren Buffett likes pontooning, he's going to buy a pontoon boat company. But the truth is that probably that Berkshire Hathaway represents a lifestyle that adds a perceived value to a large, expensive purchase. And whether planned or not, Warren Buffett built a brand, and not just a company that sells financials. It works because we know Warren Buffett, or we feel we do. We admire him. We're amazed by him. In some strange way, we identify with him because he's the guy who got ahead. He's the guy who makes a gazillion dollars. And he's the guy who, frankly, if I am in the position to buy a pontoon boat, that I want to buy it from. I don't think an Edward Jones pontoon boat would have quite the same cachet. And this is why I think putting up your personality at the front of your brand is, so very important. I think that Bonnie Brooks has done a real, whether you like her voice on the radio or not, she's done a great job of making the Bay human to us. And I think Sears did a great job with Calvin McDonald. I don't know why they're not doing it with the new guy, because frankly, I looked at him, I thought, yeah, you're okay. There's nothing wrong with him. I think they should be personalizing him. I think that there's just something about that, knowing a person. And I think that you guys are all your brand, and you stand at the forefront of it, and that's just hugely important to me, to the type of work that we do. Brand extensions are best when they make good, plain sense. When they take the essence of what a brand stands for and they apply it in a new way. And it either feels right or it doesn't, and we all know it immediately, so you will totally know if you go into bad waters on this, or if it's like, okay, these are good waters, this just feels right. I think, the Roots and the Hudson's Bay Company at the Olympics, it's beautiful. This spring, I'm launching Kobe Kids at Sears. So I knew that Kobe style is really graphic, obviously, and it's really punchy and fun. And so right away, I thought this is going to look great for kids. And thankfully, Sears agreed. And it was a really quick transition because it wasn't a hard sell, because it made sense. And so that's going to be coming out this spring, and I'm really considering that a brand extension. I could do kids now with other items, and it's been great for business. I have dreams of other extensions. I love jewelry. It is definitely my personal passion, and I love the idea of fashion. That tunic that I showed you, I think tunics are really cool. I love a tunic line. What woman doesn't want to hide her waistline after she's a certain age? I think extensions are a great way to stay interested in your business and personally engaged, which is so important. I call my jewelry line my pet project. It may take me 5 years to get it off the ground. That's okay, because I love working on it. And I think those pet projects are often what keeps us going. And so I encourage people to extend their brand into something that is personally fulfilling. That's a great thing to do. When I left House and Home, I took some advice from a business friend. If you're going to put your heart and soul into something, make sure it has a good get out of bed in the morning factor. It's pretty hard to break your back and sell something that you don't really believe in or you don't even really like. And, let's face it, we do all sell. We have to sell. We might not like selling, and we might say, we're not selling, but we really have to sell, because we are up against a lot of competition and there's no getting around that. So if you're going to have to sell what you do, then I think it's just got to be really true. When I did this, I like to say it's the real thing. It's the real deal. It's like my house. It's what I believe in. It's what I think people should do in their homes. I think they should express themselves. I could stand up here and talk about it forever. I've seen lots of houses where there's no sign of the homeowner in all the choices that have been made. And I don't fault the designer for that. I fault the homeowner for that. And then they wonder why they don't love their house or why they don't feel connected with it. To me, design has to have that connection. And when I see lines with celebrities' names on them, where there isn't a connection, it just rings false. And I think most consumers are pretty smart these days. So that get out of bed in the morning factor is hugely important, not only to me, who's creating this thing, but I also think it translates through. If you don't have that get out of bed in the morning factor anymore in your business, I would really highly suggest thinking about a brand extension. Anyway, I know Kimberly has certainly gotten a lot out of her whole extension of teaching and inspiring others. I mean, what a great extension. A lot of us consider teaching. I think it's a really noble thing to do and a way to give back. If you're an interior designer and you sort of want to get involved outdoor and you find yourself looking at the garden books all the time, I would really encourage that. Or product design, if you have a little pet product. I have definitely a game, it's a board game. It's called Hence the Saying. I own the URL. It will come to a store near you at some point. Those are the things that get me out of bed in the morning. I love that kind of stuff. And if it's a translation that makes sense, see, my board game doesn't really make sense. It's probably another company. But if it was fashion, interior design going into fashion, I just feel like those crossovers, people accept them, and I wouldn't worry like, oh, I don't know if that's going to work for me. I think that they are great things and they keep you engaged, which is hugely important over the long haul of a career. When I left my job of 18 years and I was starting Kobe Style, I was told, you're already a brand, you just don't know it. And I really didn't understand what that meant. Now I understand it meant that I had a take on home and I had a point of view that people identified me with. I was always told I was the home in House and Home, which was really nice. That I had that sort of groundedness that people long for in home decor, I think. So I knew that point of view, you know, like, I guess I feel like that's what I was known for, and that was my brand. What I did with that is, you know, was kind of up in the air. In my company now, I am the storyteller, and I am the plot line, and I'm the main character, and you guys are the main character in your stories. Martha spins her stories. Kate doesn't have to anymore because she was bought out, which is a great thing too. Ralph's riding horses. We're all selling things in overflowing marketplaces. Let's face it, nothing is new under the sun. But the stories we tell and the feelings we create when we do that are unique because we are unique. My story, your story, they're all unique, and that's the one thing that nobody can duplicate. Like it said on the branding slide, it's our brand point of difference. And it's the reason that a consumer will hopefully choose us over another. A brand, to me, is about laying a story on top of a product or anything that you sell, a service. Because let's face it, I know that the world doesn't need more vases or lamps or drapes. But the world always has an appetite for new stories and new personalities and more characters and more looks. God knows. There's never enough looks. Everybody wants a new look. So thankfully, that's something that we can all give them. And I just wanted to leave you with one quote. It's very short, and it's something that I think of every so often. It's, if you can conceive it and you believe it, you can do it. And so on my bad days, I asked myself, did I conceive it? Yes, I conceived it all by myself. Do I believe it? Yes, I believe it. Unfortunately, lots of other people don't, and I have to convince them every day, but I believe it. And so, therefore, I guess I can do it, and you can too.